Hello, everybody. We be live. I'm here with Elliot. Hi, Elliot.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, we missed you here.
Yeah, I miss
Thank
being
you for being
here.
back.
I'm very,
Yes.
very happy. I always love hanging out with the people of the Republic.
Yes. Guys, before we start, even before we ask you for liking, I have to mention, if you are at all thinking about doing self-deletion, okay? Even if you think like it's not such a big deal, I just thought about it. Obviously I'm not gonna do stuff. Consider looking into professional help.
Absolutely.
And if you are actively thinking about it seriously, please make sure you call a hotline. I'm pretty sure most countries, I think most countries have these hotlines that you could call, and they are people that will provide you services for free. They will talk to you. Just make sure as soon as these thoughts come to your mind, for you to just look up the number. On every country has its own number, and if you search on Google, those numbers will show up right at the beginning, at the very top, and you could call those numbers, and there's for free somebody will be providing you assistance and will be talking to you. Okay, so please, I just want to make sure that we mention that. Okay, so first that. Second, like the stream, because we need this will probably get heavily censored because we're talking about self-deletion. YouTube is very sensitive about that, so we guys need you guys to please like the stream. Okay, and yeah, so let's just get into it. So we have, and now that we put that, we mentioned all the things that we have to say, you guys, I think a lot of you know already what has happened, but I'm gonna let this idiot explain it to us. Oh, by the way, before I start that, I just want to say thank you so much, Ramo, for the super sticker. I appreciate it very much. Let me see what it was. It's a lemon. Doing, I don't know what it is. It's like the lemon
throwing stars, like throwing sparkles. I like that it's fruit.
Yes.
I like that the super stickers are fruit. It makes me happy.
Yes. All right, so let's get to this video from Smile to Jannah YouTube channel, which is an Islamic, one of the biggest Islamic YouTube channels out there. And let's see what this guy has to say. So it starts with oh no, that's the monetization.
We still have it.
We still have it. We're still green. So let's go here.
Subscription cheaper than Netflix, encouraging Quran reading, modern, engaging, and fun. Download it today.
Oh,
Assalamu alaikum, guys.
Yeah, so I don't know why you need the Quran app. There's so many free apps that
I should download a free Quran app just so that I can debunk Dawa claims on the fly. That would actually be a good idea. Yeah. Go download free Quran apps.
We should make a skeptic Quran app.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea. Oh wow, we've only been 3 minutes into this thing. We've already just completely. It's a great idea, man. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back to the
okay.
Sorry.
Back to the video.
Welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. A senior member of the United States Air Force, Aaron Bushnell, doused himself in a liquid and set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington, shouting "Free Palestine." But just before this shocking event, here's what he said.
Is Aaron Bushnell. I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it's not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal.
When he was ablaze, you had certain people that were there pointing guns at him. The guy...
So by the way, I watched the video and it's freaking horrific. Like the screams, man, it's so horrible. I mean, I don't recommend watching it. So I watched it so you don't have
The guy was clearly unarmed. He was a threat only to himself. And that is why you can see the difference between the Israeli officials that were there and the American Secret Service.
Gotta be joking.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me actually play this, and then I'm gonna go back to that picture, and I'm gonna get your thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't need guns. I need
fire. And that is why
So the American was saying, "I don't need gun. I need the fire extinguisher." So this is the American saying, but the Israeli was holding a gun at the guy, right? So, and he's saying this is the Israeli guy. So they're basically, the point is, it's amazing that he's making that point, because these people are usually both anti-Israeli and anti-American, but they're so, anti-Israeli. The point that this picture is trying to make is like, look, Jews are so anti-human and they're so evil that even compared to the American is trying to like put the guy out of fire, but the Israeli is pointing a gun at somebody who's burning, and they're putting this comparison. But they are going as far, again, these people who are against even American soldiers, they are so anti-Jewish that they're saying, like, in comparison, the American soldiers are better than the Israelis, than any person, that any Israeli is, any person. This is probably the security guard of the embassy of Israel in Washington, D.C. So what are your thoughts on that? What are your argument?
I think exactly that vein. That was exactly what came to my mind. Like, even in this terrible moment, this tragic story as a whole, right? This Smile to Jannah jackass goes out of his way to just be like, let me remind you how evil the Jews are. Like, that is what he has done. And again, it just shows the true hatred some of these people have. Like, why do this? Why go through this level of specificity here? Why not just point out the fact that, like, hey, maybe security forces around the world, but especially in the United States, are a bit more militarized than they should be? Like, why not just make that general point? Why have to go through the effort of just being like, hey, the one holding the gun, that's the Jew? Like, Jesus, dude. I mean, God.
Right. I mean, a constant argument I see from these YouTube channels, Islamic YouTube channels online, is that the world doesn't understand how evil these Jews are. Like that. I mean, they say Zionists, but that's what they mean. They're trying to say, again, YouTube, not my points, these are the points that these people are trying to make, is that what they're doing to Palestinians, they would do that to every single one of you if they could, including their own allies. And they're saying, like, we are telling you that you think that Palestinians are the only victims. If Zionism will come after all of you, including their allies, including Americans, and you guys are not safe. And that now they're showing this picture as proof that they were correct. Like, look, and he's an American. He's like, when it comes to them, like, they have no humanity. They have no care for somebody suffering. They're pointing a gun at somebody who's burning. And this shows that we were, what we were telling you about Jews, that's correct. Again, they say Zionists, but when they say Zionists, you have to hear Jews, right? But here's the thing. I see a lot of people trying to respond to this and against this point, and try to make a point for why this security guard was in the right to do what he was doing, right? But I will ask you, do not make that point. Do not make that point. Just accept that this was a wrong move. Let's assume that this was a wrong move. You are using, is it not so easy to see why this is flawed reasoning? Do you know how, if you could go find a mistake of a Jew or a mistake of a Zionist and generalize it to all Jewish people, do you know that no Muslim in the world will survive that logical fallacy?
Yeah.
Do you know if
nobody survives that logical fallacy?
Nobody will survive that. Exactly. Nobody will survive that. Do you imagine do you know I could find images and videos of a Muslim doing something evil right next to somebody else that is not a Muslim, and then I could put Muslim on top of his head and non-Muslim on top of the other guy's head? Do you know I have, you're saying an example of somebody. Let's assume that here, because I don't know security measures. I don't know. I'm not equipped to evaluate whether. Let's just say this was a wrong move. Let's just say this specific person is evil. That he has no sympathy for his fellow human being burning, and he's doing something that is wrong. The fact that you're generalizing this to Israel, like you're putting an Israeli flag on top of him and saying Israeli as a way to make a point about all Israelis, because hey, guess what? I went to Israel. I have met kind-hearted Israeli people. I have met Israelis that are so kind to the point of being naively kind. Okay, like I have met people that you would say as disgustingly kind Israeli people that you're like, okay, you're making me puke about you're so kind, it's making me, this is too much kindness. I met Israelis like that. Okay, there are Israelis that are evil and there are Israelis that are good. There are good Jewish people and there are bad Jewish people. What is this flawed reasoning? And how are you making this point? You constantly remind your audience that, oh, ISIS being bad does not mean all Muslims are bad. How come that logic does not apply to you when you find an example of a single Israeli doing something that, let's accept, that is evil? How is that not applied to you? You call out other people's overgeneralization, but then you do it yourself? I mean, the hypocrisy here.
Yeah, Smile should be very familiar with this, in my opinion, because, you know, for instance, out of all of the online Dawa people I know of, he's the one that has one of the dumbest ways to end his videos, but not all do. Not all, you know, Muslims that make videos on YouTube end their videos in a stupid way like Smile to Jannah does. But, you know, I don't know. It's just overgeneralization.
Some people are saying, okay, this is just protocol for security reasons.
Again,
and some people, some people are saying, I think
it
that
doesn't matter. It's still a bad argument, and it's still.
I mean,
gross.
let's for the sake of argument. Yeah, exactly. Some people are saying, again, I don't know what the protocols are. I don't know, like maybe the guy had a bomb attached to his vest. Maybe even if this was a bad move, maybe if I was in that moment and I saw somebody on fire, maybe I would make a bad move too, because I would maybe in the moment, I don't know, like what the fuck, my brain would just, hang and because this is like a really bizarre situation that I've never been in, and maybe I'm not going to make the best decision at that time. I don't know. Maybe this was a good move. Maybe this was a bad move. Maybe this guy is evil. Maybe he's not evil and he just made a mistake. The point is, whatever those options are, you cannot apply this person's behavior to all Israelis or to all Jewish people.
Right, and
you can't do that.
That is what Smile to Jannah is doing. I think that is very clear. That is why he did it exactly the way that he did. Yeah. He goes out of his way. He goes out of his way to make this point. And I think you're right. It's exactly the same message that they've been pushing. That's hey, Jews will do this to you too. And it's gross. It's gross, man. But I don't know. Somehow YouTube still keeps letting them do it and demonetizes us, which is crazy. I mean, we're not demonetized yet, right? We're still good.
Oh, wait, let me actually check. Well, I mean, let me just double check. You probably have been already. Yeah, we already been demonetized. Yeah, really? And it's gone. And it's gone. And it's gone.
I thought we were being pretty good, to be honest. We really, I mean, like, I know it was kind of spicy, but still, like, we weren't saying anything that. Whatever. Now we just won't hold back.
Continue. But some people are saying that this guy was also American. Okay, and if I don't know if it's true or not.
Oh, if that is,
but true. if he is American, these people are. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, if both of these people are American, or if both of them are like, what if both of them are dual citizens? What if they're both Israeli and American? Wouldn't that make him look so terrible? That would just make him look like
no. Dual citizen will still work out for him. Just
no, okay. Then we don't need to break down his. think more about his bigotry.
Okay, no, if he's just American and both of them are American, that people are saying he is American. Oh my, okay, wow, yeah, because that could just be American Secret Service. Like, just because it's an Israeli embassy, that doesn't mean they have Israelis protecting it. This could be just the U.S. government.
So both of them are American. If that is true, if that is true, holy crap! Smile to Jannah looks bad.
Wow.
Like
people are saying he is.
Wow.
Can you double check that? Yeah.
We'll see. I'll see.
That is pretty bad. Like, oh, what people say according to Newsweek. Okay.
Yeah.
That is bad. That is like they didn't even wait to see. Okay, so they get the uniforms are identical to me. No, the uniforms are different.
God.
Somebody saying that's what makes him look bad. Yeah, actually, you're right. He is.
A good point.
Anyway,
yeah. There's way more. There's way more, but this one's blatant. This one's super blatant. Just good point though.
Yeah. Gloria is saying this video is no way
U.S. Secret Service.
This video. Oh, really?
The guy was U.S. Secret Service, according to Newsweek. According to
my god,
check. Yeah, I'm still willing to be cautious here and say,
yeah,
I'm not 100%.
We're not 100%,
but at the same time, yeah.
But here's the thing: we're not 100% sure. But here's the thing: I will tell you this. Okay, I will tell you this. I bet you they didn't even check, right? Because now we know that it's possible that he's not Israel. They don't care. They're like, oh, a man with a gun shooting at someone on fire. Jew, evil Jew. They didn't even check.
Exactly.
They didn't even check. Oh god.
he doesn't even care about this guy who did this to himself. That's all just fucking window dressing, Armin. He was just excited for this one moment to just be like, a Jew's got a gun. Like, my jeez, man. Wow.
Yeah, let me actually. This video is in no way proves that Israelis are cruel. It only proves how much terrorism is rampant in Israel. You can't trust anyone. The Islamists are heavily attacking Israelis. I mean, it doesn't prove that. I mean, that's true, but I don't know how that is related. But anyway, let's continue.
And the American Secret Service.
I don't need guns, I need fire.
And that is why the protesters were saying this.
You killed that man! Y'all pulled your guns out instead of goddamn fire extinguishers!
If they had intervened earlier rather than...
Wait, that man... Oh my god, that man set himself on fire. You're saying you killed that man?
You're kidding me. Holy crap.
I don't know what they're talking about. You know, I wouldn't blame anybody if in that moment self-preservation is the first thing that clicks into their mind. Like, our brains are wired. Like, everybody imagines themselves being a hero in the moment that something like this happens, but you have no idea how your brain operates in the moment. You know, self-preservation and trying to make sure that nothing bad happens to you, even if you think like you beforehand that you're going to do something heroic at the moment. At the moment when stuff like this happens, you have no idea how your brain is going to operate. You killed that man. I don't know what you're talking about. That guy set himself on fire, and you're accusing him of killing him. He didn't even shoot.
And this is, it's that type of rhetoric and escalation from people on the outside of things that do not have a good understanding of what. There's no way they had a good understanding. We're what? How many days are we away from it now? And we still don't know everything about this. That was right after it happened. And that person is standing there outside yelling and screaming at other security officers. Like, this rhetoric is what causes more people to do horrific things, more people to get hurt. Like, this is what causes this terrible stuff. And it's like, it's so frustrating. Like, you could have said anything. You could have said you guys should have gotten fire extinguishers quicker, or you didn't do a good job of providing mental health services on the base, or you should have done better with this or that. But why you killed him? Like, holy crap. Just calm down, people.
Let's
intervened earlier rather than pointing guns at him, waiting for him to die, then he probably could have survived. However, because of the amount of injuries that he faced, he passed away after 7 hours. Oh, Americans, the Israelis are not your friends. They don't care about you or your service men and women. And you know why? Because when he died, here's what one of the Israeli handles posted. Our enemies killed themselves. How?
Hey, by the way, that account is not actual Mossad. Does he know that? This is not a Mossad affiliate. This is not the Mossad commentary account. Is not actually Mossad. This is just like a rando guy, just saying Mossad commentary. And
he doesn't care. He doesn't give a crap.
Like he just like, oh, look at this account. Like, what do you like? You go find a random Twitter account to say like, oh, look, a bad take. You know what? This is a horrible take. This is a horrible take. Okay. Yes, people shouldn't be talking about that, about somebody who's like, I don't know, did self-deletion or something. Okay, yeah, sure. I can find a crap ton of Islamic accounts that have horrible. In fact, you know what? I have those for you. Once this video is finished, I will show you some takes. Actually, let me show you one right now. Okay, let me show you one right now, because you're showing us a tweet from somebody that is pro-Israel. And also, I know why you specifically picked this account, because a lot of people, because the account name is Mossad Commentary, a lot of people think this is officially a Mossad account, and that's why you picked this account, because there were other accounts that you could pick to show bad takes as well. But you did this on purpose. But if you want to take bad pro-Israeli takes on Twitter and show like, oh, look, they don't care about you, like Jews, they don't care about you Americans, because of bad takes on Twitter, well, I have news for you. Here's some great takes. Okay, you want to read this one?
Yeah, let's see. Muslims are saying RIP for that soldier who deleted himself by fire in protest for Gaza. He was still a kafir who disbelieved in Allah and his messenger, peace be upon him. He is definitely not resting in peace. Wow. What a beautiful sentiment from a clearly Muslim, account, right?
So here's the thing. So he's trying to tell us, based on one soldier that pointed a gun at we don't even know if he's Israeli, probably wasn't. Based on one soldier that pointed a gun at a burning man, and then a bad Twitter take, right? And he's using these two examples to come up with the conclusion that they don't care about you, Americans. The Jews don't care about you. They would do what they're doing to Palestinians to you as well. I'm showing an example of a bad take on Twitter, or I think this is, I don't know, is it Twitter? Yeah. On Twitter, or it seems like it's, yeah.
It could be X.
And it could be X, yeah. And this is a Muslim. And here's the difference between my example and your example. It's more reasonable for me to generalize this. Do you know why? Because this is the official stance of Islam.
Yeah.
And what this is the official stance of Islam. As a Muslim, you are required to believe what this person is saying. As a Muslim, when it comes to Americans, non-Muslim Americans, they are, no matter how good they are going to burn in hell forever and ever and ever. And you are required as a Muslim to believe that is just. Here's the thing, even though it would be more reasonable for me to generalize, I will still not generalize, because most Muslims are better than Islam. Most Muslims are not as evil as Muhammad and Allah. I had more reason to generalize this take on Muslims than your two freaking examples. Like, show me, is there like a Zionism manifesto that tells you that you have to be against all non-Jews or something like that. No. But I have an Islamic teaching that tells you that you have to be like this, that you have to accept the state. You just have a tweet and one picture of a
and not even guys, not even Israeli, possibly. Like, yeah, it's weird. I'm sure he'll admit it, though. I'm sure he'll say next that, hey, we know this account is not real, but I'm using this as an example. I'm sure he'll say something like that. Let's be charitable to him.
Yeah.
How disrespectful. How callous of you to say this. This is not the first time that something like this has happened, but this time you'll probably hear about it because it's a US Air Force official. It's happened before. Yeah, it happened during the Vietnam War where a Buddhist monk did the same thing. This happened during the Iraq War. Yes, in the United States. I think near the Kennedy freeway by somebody called Malachi. And for 3 weeks, it was in America, but for 3 weeks, the media didn't pick it up. And do you know what the icing on the cake is?
Well, one reason why the media is picking it up is because you guys are celebrating it. This is a bigger news, not just because the other side cares about this more, but it's also because you care about this more. This was an anti-Israeli act of protest, a horrible one, a horrible way of protesting anything, to be honest. But you guys are welcoming this so much that it has become a major news. So if you're like, why are they talking about this more? Well, you are talking about this more, and everybody is reacting to it. I don't understand.
He's not the first to set himself.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let him go for a second. I wonder if he's going to mention the woman in Atlanta like a month or so ago that did the same thing. Like, I wonder if he's going to talk about that. Because if not, then it kind of makes it sound like, you know, his point just a second ago just doesn't really stand anymore because he only gives a crap about it because it's the U.S. servicemen. So I don't know. It just
no, they care about it. It's because it's anti-Israel. Like, he's trying to point to other people's bias, which I accept. There's a bias here, right? I do accept that this is but sure. On the other side, but he doesn't acknowledge their own bias. You guys are talking about this more. Like all these other things that you showed us. Did you talk about it? You didn't talk about it. Because they weren't against Israel. None of those were against Israel. So, like, you're biased too. You didn't talk about any of those things that you mentioned.
And honestly, it's weird. Like, this is an edited video. It sounded like he was reading that stuff for the first time, like off the top of his head. Like, why does he not do a better job with, like, when we're just doing this live? Like, we don't have a script or anything. We're not editing any of this, you know? So, like, when we stumble or whatever, it makes sense. But what's wrong with him? Why? I don't know how.
But I don't understand how he doesn't see the hypocrisy. Like, oh, why are other people talking about this more? And like, I don't understand how he wrote the script, he edited, he made the video, and they cut it, and they at no point thought like, wait, we are also talking about this more than those other things. Like, it never crossed his mind.
He didn't check to see that the fake Mossad account is fake. Like, he's not smart enough to like read through the script and notice his own hypocrisy. Like, that takes introspection.
It doesn't even matter because his audience are like eating this up. Like, his channel, like, why should he change his way? People are like celebrating his channel. His channel is going like crazy. And like, okay, it's working out for me, so why do I need to change anything?
Yeah.
By the way, Roy, thank you so much for the super chat. Roy with the super chat saying to remind people that we need more super chats. Wow, this is a super chat asking for more super chats, which is a good one because we have been demonetized. So if anybody wants to help us out with super chats, that would be very nice. Thank you so much. And also, if you don't want to use super chat, at least like the stream. That really helps us out as well. Please just like the stream. All right, let's continue.
On fire. Somebody did the same thing. It was a woman in December. This was also in the United States, Atlanta Israeli consulate. But you're not going to hear about this because apparently she's a nobody and it doesn't bode well to
It's been talked about like crazy.
Yeah, and you didn't talk about it either until an American was killed. You didn't talk about it as well until where is your bias? How come you didn't cover this when that happened?
It's so weird. It's so weird. I mean, I don't understand.
We got a super sticker, which is a pair punching. A pair punching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much from Seed of Iblis for the super chat.
Show that this is what people are being pushed towards. And why did he say, I don't want to be complicit? People are saying, oh, he's killing himself for another war. No, this is the war of the United States. Because here you can see in this article that the Air Force is being sent to Israel. And according to this document, it is mandatory that if the Air Force gets sent there, you must help Israel conduct this genocide. It's literally as simple.
Does it say that, you fucking asshole? Like, what a jackass. It just, why do this? Why do that? It does not. If you want to say that the IDF is committing a genocide, then make that point, okay? But like, why go through this escalation? What it says is that you are required to aid and assist the military operations of a U.S. ally because you are a U.S. service member. Like, why say when you go over to Israel, yep, you got to participate in genocide? The only reason is to inflame tensions, to increase the rhetoric, to get more people to be upset, which causes more fucking suffering. That's what this asshole wants. It's really frustrating that people like him, Armin, because he does that, and he's just not good at making content. Like, I don't like this guy. I don't know if you know this. I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan
it's okay. I understand.
All right.
Yeah. We got a super chat. Thank you so much from Ideology. Thank you. Saying, I'm skint. I thought he said you need super yachts.
Oh.
No, I mean, that would be nice.
That'd be cool too.
I mean, we should have an Atheist Republic fund for a yacht, maybe an Atheist Republic. Sure. We will put this $2 towards our first Atheist Republic. £2, sorry. Yeah. But thank you so much for the super chat.
We're on our way.
It was good. Guys, I have some screenshots. Susanna sent me some screenshots of some tweets of some horrible takes on this. So I'm trying to finish this so I could show you those tweets. They are like the worst of all takes Susanna sent me. So let's go through this. But guys, keep the super chats coming. And if you can't send the super chats, like the stream. And also once the stream is over, leave a comment under the show. That really helps out.
As that is why the guy was brought to the end of his tether. And if this is not going to wake you up, then I don't know what will. Because this individual, ladies and gentlemen, was not a Muslim. Yes, he was part of some.
Yeah, non-Muslims could have bad takes. I don't know why should this convince me. If something is not true, somebody setting themselves on fire, saying that it's true, does not convince me that it's true.
Right.
Does it convince you?
No. And if there's a bad argument, if there's a bad argument, whether somebody is part of a particular group or not, making that bad argument, it's a bad argument. Like, you don't win the argument all of a sudden just because you go, well, hey, this guy that's not part of my group believes this thing too. And it's like, yeah, well, that's another fallacy.
There's two logical fallacies. Yeah, like, first of all, he was not even a Muslim. Yeah. I mean, Muslims have bad takes. I give you that. But it's possible for you to be a non-Muslim and also have a bad take. Okay, we see it quite often. It's not something unique. And that's one logical fallacy. Like, he's not even a Muslim. Okay, yeah, and he's still wrong. And another logical fallacy, like, oh, when would this wake people up? Again, no amount of self-burning people is going to make me convinced of a falsehood. If setting yourself on fire is not a logical argument. It's not like, it doesn't make a case. I'm sorry, and I know it's a very heavy price to pay, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Your point is still wrong. Let's just continue.
Thing called the community of Jesus. They try to discredit him. Look at this Washington Post by saying, oh, he had an anarchist past. Oh,
he did.
Well, I mean, he did though.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
let's see what he says. I mean, yeah, he was right.
Yeah.
Let's see this justification here, Smile. Like, I'm sure it's going to be very robust and thought out as opposed to just stupid. But
he was from this community of Jesus group and they were trying to discredit it. Who gives a damn? Because what this guy said is what's in the hearts and the minds of everybody. And you know what?
Stop. Who gives a damn? If this individual was raised in an abusive environment, if this individual was particularly subjected to some of the things that the former members of this cult have alleged, like he was tortured as a child. Who gives a damn? Like, what an asshole. What an absolute horrible person you would have to be to just be like, man, somebody just set themselves on fire for any reason whatsoever, and then find out, oh my gosh, wait a second. They were abused throughout their formative years of life by people that supposedly cared about them, that were supposedly the ones that had to take care of them. Who gives a damn? Thank goodness he chose our side to burn himself alive for. My God, what a disgusting mindset you would have to think that. Yeah. And that's just what he said. That's just what he put on display right there. My God.
Yeah. Also, from a guy, look at the hypocrisy. Okay, so he's like, how dare you talk about his background and go see why he might have done this? Spoken by a person that just showed us, that just assumed somebody is Israeli just because they did something that they considered like the guy was pointing a gun at the Burning Man, and you don't even have any evidence whether he's Israeli or not. Like, oh, this must be because he's Jew. And you don't even know if he's Jewish or not. You just assumed it because he's doing something evil. So at least what you showed us on screen is based on facts and evidence. This guy was part of a cult, and you went and looked up. You made up a background. You made up a background. At least a background that they're giving us is a real background.
Right.
The hypocrisy here.
It's insane. Yeah. It is just insane. And people watch his stuff and lap it up. It is crazy.
Yeah.
The disabled American media, here's what one of the handles said. They couldn't verify his motives. You look at the guy's Facebook post. You look at the guy's speech before he does that act. You look at the 2 words that he says before, which is Free Palestine. And you're trying to tell the viewers, hey, you just can't figure it out, mate.
You know, it's very interesting that he says that, because they are the same people who tell us that you can't tell that these people's, terrorist attacks that are Islamic, that their motives are Islam, even when they're shouting Allahu Akbar while they're like self-deleting themselves or killing other people. Like they're like stabbing people with knives or like killing people while shouting Allahu Akbar. And they're like, well, you can't tell that his motivations were because of Islam. Yeah. And then when journalists and news media are like, oh, their motives are still being investigated, you agree with that you actually have to, the Allahu Akbar shouting, or like, their manifesto saying I'm like doing this because of like defending the prophet, you do not think that's evidence enough, and you actually not only don't you think that's evidence enough for this to be because of Islam, you are sure that this is not because of Islam, because you say that these people don't understand Islam, that these people are not real Muslims. So even they say we are Muslim, we're doing this because of Islam to defend our prophet's honor. They have a full manifesto and they're shouting Allahu Akbar at the moment of doing that terrorist attack. You still say that this is not because of Islam. So what the hypocrisy? Look at the double standard. Here they say like, okay, we don't know the motives. And here's the thing. Honestly, it's fair to say that for both cases, because people's minds are complicated. It's multifactorial. The things that affect us, sometimes the things that we say are not always aligned with the actual reason for what we're doing. So it makes sense for you to want to do more investigation, to wait a little bit, to say like, it seems like this is the reason, but this is just hours after. Like we might find more things in the guy's past. The guy might have been mentally ill. The guy might have been abused by his parents or by his cult. Those might have been playing. Maybe they played. Maybe they're a factor. Maybe they're not. Okay, but you cannot come up with a absolute determine this with certainty a day or a couple of hours after something happened. We will be more certain as time goes by. This is responsible journalism. Just because you don't understand how journalism works, that doesn't mean you're right here. Anyways, go on.
No, it's a great point. It's a great point. Again, we're how many days out now, and we still have questions. Things are still coming out. Like, yeah, imagine being so confident just hours after it comes out that you know what's going on.
Right.
Like, it's just it just shows the arrogance.
They don't accept that the cause of terrorist attacks are Islam years after it happened, after they're fully analyzed, and we are completely understanding. Yeah, this is
have
because
their
of Islam.
Fucking diaries where they were writing for weeks about how thank goodness Allah told me to do this. Right.
Yeah, you still refuse to say that Islam had any role to play in this, but you expect them to say, like, hours after a day after, you expect them to have like a cool.
So obvious, Armin. He said free Palestine.
Yeah. Anyways, double standard.
Hey, you just can't figure it out, mate.
It is a mystery, Captain.
And look at all of these news headlines. None of them mention why he did it. They really think that you're idiots. That's what they do. And you know what? If
you think people are idiots, like I
mean, people know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me actually see. U.S. soldier.
Like, I've seen a bunch of things that say exactly what happened. Like, exactly, they say like he did it in protest of the Israel-Gaza conflict.
A lot of he went and cherry picked the ones that didn't, because a lot of them do. A lot of them do. Hold on, let me see this.
And they've
posted that he shows
all of those.
I'm gonna tell the viewers, hey, you just can't figure it out, mate.
It is a mystery, Captain.
And look at all of these news headlines. None of.
A man set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington. The police said U.S. airman sets himself on fire outside Israeli embassy in Washington. U.S. airman. I think. Yeah, go on.
Every single one of these news websites. This is Reuters, the Washington Post, the New York Times, and CNN. Okay, every single one of these have posted multiple articles on this. Like it's not as if like
yeah, I mean, this is hours after they don't.
This literally could have been within hours of this happening. Like, the entire article from Reuters could have just been that headline, because that's all we knew at the time. Like, it's just crazy, man.
I mean, here's the thing. That would be a weird title, like shouting "Free Palestine" in the title. Like, the main event is somebody set himself on fire in front of Israeli embassy, and that's the headline. Okay, but they also shouted "Free Palestine." Like, that would be not a title anymore. That would be an essay. Like, that would be I'm pretty sure once you read the article, they will mention that. But the headline is somebody just put themselves on fire. That's what happened. Like, what? Imagine if the headlines. Here's the thing. Imagine if the headlines said that a man stabbed people in the street shouting Allahu Akbar. Wouldn't you be like, why is that in the freaking title?
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't it be like, okay, that seems like to be something that deserves to be in the body of the in the story. Like, why did you specifically put that in the title? Like, would be. I'm pretty sure these people would question that that title. Right. Yeah, that's not the headline. That's the description of the event. Oh, we got another super chat. The good sir. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. Saying, I saw an Instagram post that said genocide killed Aaron, the guy. Okay, that's a weird take.
Yeah, is a very, very bad take. I'm just gonna say that.
Yes.
Yeah, that is.
Yes. Oh, Susie is here. Hi. Yeah, it's good that Susie is here, because we're about to head to the screenshots that Susie sent me, so I'm gonna show you. Yes. All right, let's go.
Them mention why he did it. They really think that you're idiots. That's what they do.
No.
And you know what? If you truly believe Israel is defending itself, I'm sorry, you are. You are. Because here you have evidence that's slapping you in the face, and yet you're still like, I don't know.
Your thoughts on the Palestinians?
How is that evidence that Israel is not? Somebody's telling them, you're an idiot, sir. Smile to Jannah, you're the idiot here. How is somebody setting themselves on fire in front of Israel's embassy and you having a security guard pointing a gun at them prove that Israel is not defending itself? How is this even related? This is not even a logical fallacy. This is just unrelated two statements that are unrelated.
Yes, this is as if somebody walks up to you and is like, hey, where would you like to go to eat dinner? By the way, I recently painted my shed purple. Like, they just don't relate to each other.
This is like,
they're just two.
No, this is more like, sir, you have cancer. I'm like, how do you know that? Because I just bought a fish. That's this is the argument, the level of argument.
Must be the case. What the fuck? Jesus.
And yet you're still like, I don't know.
Your thoughts on the Palestinians?
I don't have enough information on that.
That's what Kanye West, the one who was giving it all that when it came to himself, now when it comes to something bigger than himself, no, I don't have enough information, frankly.
You scared of them?
What a...
I mean, that's the first time I'm seeing a take by Kanye West that seems like somewhat reasonable. This is
I know, that's what's so funny. It's like, of the things that Kanye has said and done in the last 5 years, that is the most like middle of the road, normal, like sensical thing. It's like, man, this is a really difficult topic and it's nuanced and I'm not sure I'm educated on it. Like
that's actually a surprisingly decent response by Kanye. I'm actually shocked. I didn't expect that from that.
Imagine going to somebody like Kanye West to try to prove your point, and then it ends up proving the exact opposite. Like, man, Smile, you are bad at this. You are not good at this whole like content creation thing. You just don't get what the whole point is, I guess, man. It's just it's very weird. I'm confused by this. I don't know why I keep coming back when you do this to me every time, Armin. You make me have all these feelings at these videos. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're almost.
Before saying Kanye is anti-Semitic, yeah, I know. That's why I'm surprised that he actually had a decent take. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Sad.
He's saying crazy shit.
Yeah.
Moment in American history that your own army member goes in front of the embassy, says exactly who and what he's doing it for, yet the media is trying to convince you that this guy has a bit of a hazy past. He's got no Muslim links. The guy is just a human.
Okay, again, hazy past does not mean Muslim links. Okay, I think he's being this is a form of anti-Muslim bigotry. He's like, how dare you say this guy had a questionable past? He has no Muslim links. Mm-hmm. Like, wait, Sponsor Jannah, are you saying that people with like, are you saying that the only way for people to have like questionable pasts and like mental issues is for them to be Muslim? Yeah. That seemed like it's
weird.
That's what the
yeah, weird kind of admission there. Smile to Jannah. Yeah. What are you saying? Yeah. How was your childhood? What was your experience like? Just you're the one who brought it up. I'm not leveling that accusation against you, but yeah, it's weird, weird Freudian slip there, bro.
They're saying he had questionable past, but he had no Islamic connections. How could that be? Okay, what the hell are you saying?
They're saying his childhood was horrible, but there's no way because he didn't have my parents. I was Muslim. Like, whoa, what? What did you just say, bro? Like, aren't you? Wait, what? Yeah.
And he's full.
Yeah. I mean, we're like, he's too extra. You need to take it down a notch on your anti-Muslim hate because we don't generalize Muslims like that. Smile to Jannah. Maybe like you should learn from it. This is
not all.
This
Muslims
is like
this
is bigoted. Yeah. Not all Muslims, I guess.
Just a human being, and he's forcibly being deployed to be a part of a genocide, and this is how he chooses to opt out. This is...
I mean, guys, there are better ways to opt out, okay? I promise you, okay? If you don't agree with your government, government's war, and you want to opt out of the military, there are a million better ways to do this than burning yourself, okay? So that's it. That's the horrible way of opting out, okay? That's not, you should not do that. That's not good. Like I'm pretty sure he also knew that there are better ways to opt out, okay?
He was a cybersecurity expert, I think. Like, truly, he could have helped create secure communication systems exclusively for Palestinians, right? There could have been so much that he could have done, and instead,
but I don't recommend that. That sounds like Hamas being able to communicate with each other without getting...
No. I know what the terrible things it would lead to. I'm just saying that's just something off the top of my head, that it's like, hey, this would have been more of a beneficial act, because it would, even though Hamas would have taken it over and it would have been used for terrible things, at least some aid could have gotten through in that sense. But with this act, man, unfortunately, like, it's just not... This is not the right way to protest. This is not something that is beneficial for the people you're trying to.
Do not do it.
This
has not achieved. It's not achieved anything. Right. This guy has achieved nothing. Okay?
It is not solidarity. It is not bravery. It is tragic. Yes. So
Anyways, let's continue. Oh, by the way, you're right. Somebody's pointing out this is Islamically, this man is now burning again. For two reasons, okay? So this guy, like, oh my God, this guy set himself on fire. Okay, but now, according to Islam, this man is in a worse fire. He set himself on fire, and now, as we're speaking right now, according to Islam, Allah has now set himself on fire, and he... Right now, as we speak, he is in a much more greater pain that he experienced when he set himself on fire. And it will continue for eternity for two reasons. One, because he's not a Muslim. And as a non-Muslim, once you die, you will burn for eternity. This is Islamic teaching. This is a foundational Islamic teaching that every Islamic teaching agrees with this across the board, right?
Wow.
One. Two, he committed self-deletion. And that's a sin in Islam. So his fire would be even extra worse because of this horrible sin. These people are celebrating something that is a sin in Islam. And I don't know, Jannah, that might put you out of the fold of Islam.
Oh my gosh. That is a really good point, man. Wow.
Because it's a commandment of Allah not to commit self-deletion, and now you're celebrating it as a good act. You are denying the commandments of Allah. So, Smile to Jannah, you're now a fellow ex-Muslim. Welcome.
Okay?
Yes. If you want to become a Muslim, now you have to do the Shahadat again. But as of right now, you are now an ex-Muslim. Because something like Allah commanded as takfir.
That is a really good point, man. I had not thought about that. That seriously is a good point. If this is a sin and they're saying it's the right thing that this guy did
to do, you're celebrating a sin.
Wow. Yeah. This could be bad. Look, we need to know for sure, I think we should get an official statement from Smile to Jannah or Ali Dawa, Muhammad Hijab, whichever one of these guys have talked about this. They need to let the Ummah know. Are they, in fact, celebrating a sin and perpetuating that to their audience? Because...
Actually, Ali Dawa was careful enough. So it's strange because Ali Dawa was smarter than Smile to Jannah, which is weird.
I know, that's
because Ali Dawa is usually the dumbest one. But Ali Dawa was mentioned that, like, we do not, this is a sin in Islam, and obviously blah blah blah, and we don't. This is not something that should be. But he didn't do that. He's celebrating the act. He's celebrating a sin. So Ali Dad was still a Muslim. Smile to Jannah. Not a Muslim. You are not a Muslim. Okay, you have to, brother. You have to come back to the arms of Islam by doing a shahada or something. Like, I don't know.
It's so sad. It's so sad that the wave of apostasy is just happening in front of our eyes, Armin. You know,
yes.
So many people, even folks like Smile to Jannah, are leaving the fold of Islam, and they're doing it on video. So this is great, though. I mean, obviously, I love it. I celebrate this this kafir. Yes, this is one of us.
Susanna. All right, let's finish this.
This is the way. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time.
Oh, we have to.
Assalamu
alaikum. Oh yeah, guys, like and share our stream. But anyways, I have to go to the. I have to show you guys the bad takes that Susanna. Yes. Okay. So let's go with the first one. Okay. So this is what I know. This guy. Do you know this guy? This is Trita Parsi, which is a really horrible person among the Iranian community. He is very much hated because he's one of those people who looks like modern and liberal, but he goes in and lobbies the U.S. government to against taking a hard position against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So he's basically somebody that is pro the Islamic Republic of Iran. He supports them through lobbying activity and stuff like that. So that's why he's very much hated among the Iranian community. But anyway, this is his take, right? So he's saying, so that he posted the MSNBC news segment about the whole self-immolation of the guy, and he says, so insulting of MSNBC to list the suicide I said the word, to self-deletion hotline in the segment on is it Bushnell? Is that his name? Bushnell's self-immolation in protest of Israel's Gaza slaughter. They treat him as if he was troubled by inner demons rather than by the massacre of innocent. If one cannot empathize with Palestinians, I guess it becomes very hard to grasp that others can. Okay, you're a freaking moron, Trita.
A weird take.
This is such a horrible take. Here's the thing. Let's assume that Israel is committing genocide. Okay, let's also assume that this is a legitimate form of protest, which is not. Okay, and let's say that this person was requires to be celebrated as a hero. I will just give you all that. Let's just assume all of that. This is still a horrible take. When you talk about people self-deleting, you have to, this is proper journalism. The media have to, let's say, even if he didn't, let's say he was not mentally ill. Let's say he had no inner demons and he was happy to do all of this. When you are talking to an audience about self-deletion, you don't know what effect this will have on them. It is the media's responsibility to mention this, to talk about self-deletion hotlines. First of all, this is protocol. They have to do this. Even if this was not their sense of moral, this is something that they thought is important to do. This is protocol. When he thinks that there's a conspiracy happening here, they're mentioning the self-deletion hotlines just to make it seem like this person was mentally ill. The conspiratorial mindset here is off the charts. No, even if she didn't want to do this, it's protocol for you to talk about the hotlines that mention people, remind people that they have access to it every time they talk about self-deletion. Yeah. But even if it was not protocol, it makes sense because you don't know. You're talking to a mass audience and you're mentioning self-deletion. Even if this guy had no inner demons or mental illness, people who are mentally ill or have these problems, hearing about this, the human mind is very complicated. You don't know how it will affect them. Does that make sense?
Oh, I totally agree. And again, I want to point to the fact that, like, imagine just being against somebody suggesting mental health in general. Like,
right.
Like if every single one of the AR live streams just had underneath it this mental health hotline, right? Imagine being against that. Imagine being like, oh no, I don't think we should tell people ways in which they can get care for the various problems that they're associated with. Like, imagine if we had like a, hey, are you struggling and hungry? Here's a place you can call that can provide some food. Imagine being against something like that. It just shows the way people have twisted the concept of empathy or compassion in their head, because he ends this by saying, if one cannot empathize with Palestinians, I guess it becomes very hard to grasp that others can. Where in the hell did anybody from MSNBC say that? Like, where did they say, like, we don't give a crap about the Palestinians, you know? Like, that is just, it's just, again, this is the escalation of rhetoric that people are using specifically to inflame this conflict even more. And all it does is it prevents an actual resolution from coming forward. It prevents us from stopping the suffering that is occurring to so many different people. And this person just flippantly just uses the Palestinian people as a pawn, as a checkmate argument to end the debate. It's just, my gosh, if you want to help the Palestinian people, stop escalating this rhetoric. Stop doing this needlessly. Like, good God, MSNBC doesn't care about the Palestinian people. My gosh, man. Okay, what other bad takes?
Okay, so let's go through the rest of them really quick, because we're over time, right? So people are saying not to say rest in power to this person, okay? And here are the reasons, okay? So this is getting a lot of support. You see, it got 10,000 likes. A lot of people agree with this, right? So saying rest in power is for Black people. Black people have asked time and time again not to use this outside of the community, and every single time you do. So again, these are even people who are supporting this person's act and saying, like, don't say rest in power. And then she continues, we also had this discussion not even a week ago, and it isn't like I am saying don't say anything, just don't say that. You all can pay your respects without appropriating.
This is going to make me go down. I can't. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time for this, Armin. I am going to go down this rabbit hole about what appropriating means and all this. But that's really frustrating. That's really frustrating. Yeah. I really appreciated the comment where the person was like, somebody just set themselves on fire. The words they used was over genocide, but a human being just set themselves on fire because of a war, right? And this is what you're upset about. Like, oh my gosh. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to say all the upsetting things that I like have to say on this. But I don't know.
Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one, right? So Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation was an act of penance driven by want to absolve himself of white guilt as an active military man. He is not a martyr, and his choice was a privilege. Palestinian martyrs forced to fight do not have and are not lauded for. A privilege Palestinian martyrs forced to fight do not have and are not lauded for. So this man was privileged, and he was not a martyr. We should not even. These are.
I have no idea what this person is trying to say. Part of me feels like he is saying Aaron did a good thing, and the other part of me feels like he's saying Aaron did a shitty thing. I don't know what this person is trying to get across here. I'm gonna be honest.
He's saying like, hey, don't.
Bad takes.
I would shorten this for you, okay?
Please help me.
Don't here's the message. Don't celebrate this man too much. He was white. That's the message.
Kind of feel like that's what it's saying, but I'm hoping that is what it's saying. Oh my God.
No, that is what it's saying.
Absolve himself of white guilt, not a martyr, as a privileged Palestinian martyr. Wow. Guys, do we really have amazing takes, Armin? Or is it the fact that the bar has gotten this low? You know what I'm saying?
I have an amazing take that Susanna just sent me to read, so maybe I should just read that one.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
All right, Susanna sent me this in an email. She said, one strong point that you should bring up on the show, the difference in reaction to this to the self-deletion immolation of this Aaron guy, and the self-deletion drowning of Muhammad Moradi, who drowned himself during the WLF protests in a river in France in protest of the regime in Iran, and to get the media attention. Oh, you remember that? There was I remember that. So to protesting this was a guy who drowned himself in the river to bring more attention to the situation of people in Iran when the government was like cracking down, like killing people in the streets and shooting at them, right? So here's the comparison. I saw near universal condemnation of Muhammad's act from the WLF movement. People honored, so WLF, actually, Women Life Freedom, that's what she's referring to. So the Women Life Freedom movement, right? So I saw near universal condemnation of Muhammad's act from the Women Life Freedom movement. People honored his memory, but generally did not glorify his act at all. Yeah, so the Iranian people, a lot of people who are supporting the Iranian people or the Iranian protesters themselves did not glorify his acts. They mourned his death, tended to be delicate when sharing the video details. And labeled his action as self-deletion, again with the S, I'm not saying it here, and discouraged his action. It was a general sentiment of, please don't do this. People love you, and you don't have to do this to make an impact.
Yes.
Many of it. So that's actually, she's right. I didn't even think to make this comparison. A lot of Iranian people, when that man did that, they did not celebrate the act. They tried to honor the person without celebrating what he did. Many often provided a mental health resources when sharing news of his protest self-deletion. The only people that the Women Life Freedom movement labeled as secular martyrs were protesters inside Iran who were murdered by authorities, like Nika Sharkarami, or people like Yalda again, I need to see the Persian version of this. Or Yalda Agha Fazli, yes, Agha Fazli, who self-deleted a few days after her abuse while in prison during the protest. A sort of tangential. Am I reading this right? Tangential, right? Tangential murder. Also, the use of martyrdom was different. It was a reclamation of the word from the regime, a subtle form of protest. And don't forget how people honored their memories by wearing white during Muharram and having joyful, loud musical processions during positions to celebrate their lives and the sacrifice they made for their lives of others, all in service of movement on the side of life. Yeah, so she's right. So you notice a lot of people in Iran are moving to celebrate people's life when they're dead rather than mourning their dead. Like this is a new thing because they're like trying to become a culture of life rather than a culture that keeps focusing on death. So you can see a lot of people doing that. Like instead of like mourning people's death, they celebrate their life. Meanwhile, with leftists and pro-Palestinians, again, pro-Palestinians in air quotes, I am seeing refusal to label this a self-deletion offense taken when it is labeled a self-deletion, and that people wait, what? Meanwhile, with the leftists and pro-Palestinians, I'm seeing refusal to label this a self-deletion offense taken when it is labeled a self-deletion, and at people provided mental health resources. Okay, glorification, calling him a martyr, praising his action. You know, she sees all of these things, or straight up shedding on him for the sin of being a white man, especially in the armed forces. Which goes to show that even the ultimate sacrifice will never be enough to cater to these sick fucks who would never pay this price themselves. So there's literally no point in attempting to play their twisted moral purity games. These are simply death calls that attract each other. Oh, that's a very good point. Wow. Yeah, if this level of sacrifice is not going to make you wash away all your white guilt, then just stop trying. Just stop trying. Even after this guy burned himself alive, they're still not forgiving him. And again, yeah, if you're woke enough, this person is still not worth celebrating because he's white. And if you're Muslim enough, this person is still not worth celebrating because he's a kafir. And the real fire he has to worry about is the fire that now he's in right now as we speak. You know, you have to admit, if you're a Muslim, based on your belief, this person, his screams has only started. As we speak right now, this person is screaming the worst screams imaginable, right? And it will never stop. There will be infinite numbers of years, and he will continue feeling that pain. That's what your religion. Stop celebrating this man. Your religion tells you that the fire that he put himself in is not enough. Okay, he is going to be in a worse fire, and he deserves it forever and ever and ever. So don't celebrate this man as a Muslim.
Yeah, why don't more people see that the further you go into Islam and the further you go onto these radical leftist things, just the worse it gets? I mean, is that just not obvious anymore? I don't. This is bad. This is bad. I don't understand people's takes. Again, it's amazing that we have to reiterate this, but apparently some people feel otherwise. But folks, do not do what this individual did. If you have strong feelings about any cause whatsoever, there are always better ways, more productive things you can do. And absolutely everybody, whether you think you have problems or not, absolutely all of us should be engaged in regular mental health checkups, just as we do with our physical bodies. Like, absolutely all of us. Like, mental health is incredibly important. Like, so it's just weird. So many people have these takes where ultimately they are just against healthcare. They are against human beings, getting better. It's just weird. And yeah, I don't know. Don't do this. It's not good.
I should go get ready for the Persian show. By the way, guys, I do this after the English show. I do this and I go do the Persian one for people in Iran. So we have an Atheist Republic Persian channel as well. So if you speak Persian, the channel name is called Jamhuriyat Bi Khodayan. So I should go get ready for that. But guys, don't forget to like the stream. Make sure you do that right now. Every single one of you like the stream. And we should go. Assalamu alaikum.
He sucks. He sucks.
Bye, guys.